Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to another edition of Reviewing Your Music. On Twitch and in YouTube land, we are taking, well, just on Twitch, excuse me. On Twitch, we are taking viewer submissions of your songs and reviewing them live on the Twitch platform. Thank you, everyone in YouTube land watching this after the fact. Remember, everyone that we talk about in this segment is linked down below, so you can check out their music down below of anyone who we talk about in this episode. Let me remind everyone watching live of the rules for reviewing your music. For reviewing your music, to be involved, you must be here. You must be subbed. You must submit recent work. You must submit one time. If you submit a million times, if you're trying to spam your way into being included in this segment, you will just be ignored. You must use Spotify, SoundCloud, or Bandcamp. You must be the creator of or a musician on the song. It's not reviewing someone else's music. It's not reviewing your favorite band's music. It's reviewing your music. That's the point of the segment. And you must be fine with your song being played on Twitch and on YouTube because we're obviously going to play it here to hear it all together. And this is going to be recorded for a YouTube segment in which, you know, there may be like 10 seconds of your track included and then sort of the commentary and everything like that. So that will be that. Those are the rules. That is what you need to know. All right, so Ian has submitted a track. Let's get it open. So, whoa, Ian, this seems quite dark, sir. It says artist Lawn Dogs, song Cocaine Paradise, genre hip-hop / R&B, and it's off of the album Rehab Dropout. All titles in caps. Scab Daddy, Nightmare, Nightmare 2, Rehab Dropout, Rat Corpse. This sounds dark, man. This is good. This is dark, buddy. But that's what we're here to do. We're here to explore anybody's music that submits, and we pick randomly. So let's go at it. We are going to play the song you suggested, but I am curious about a track titled "Give Me Your Dog." That is also piquing my interest. But I will trust you to submit and suggest the cream of the crop, the best of the best this project has to offer. Cocaine Paradise, let's do it. Ba-bam.
Cocaine in my body, fucked up in the lobby. I can't feel my body, a wild after party. Tell my mom I'm sorry.
Look, that song to me, like aesthetically and stylistically, was almost like a combination of like Igor Tyler, the creator, but then also Justin Timberlake. Like that's what it felt like to me. It felt like Igor and a little bit of JT. It felt like it, and obviously if like JT was really into cocaine, if JT was really into cocaine. Look, there were a lot of things about the track that I liked. The beat was tight. The super zany, sung vocals, the group vocals on the chorus were great. Cocaine in my body, like super earworm hook. I thought the guitar lines and the groove were sick. Those were coked out JT. Yes, exactly. Those are instantaneously catchy and, again, super earwormy. Structure of the track was solid as well. You put together a solid song structurally as well. But, here are sort of like my suggestions. The sung vocals, while I understand there's kind of like a zany tone to the whole thing, some of the sung vocals could have been performed better. They were a little messy, a little too sloppy. And some of those solo leads I think could have come together a bit more cleanly. The horn line, I loved that you threw a horn in there. It added so much personality and texture, but the horn line itself was not great. I think there could have been a better horn line. I like the attempt, and look, the horn added so much to that track. It didn't even matter that the line wasn't all that good. Just the fact that it sounded like there was a horn there sort of like made all the world of difference. But if you get a horn line in there that's actually like as memorable as the guitar line or as memorable as those group vocals, like please just redo the horn, get another horn line in there, or just get a better, like tighter horn loop in there so it comes together a bit more like fluidly. And the second verse, the rapping on the second verse, The flows weren't as tight as they could have been, and the vocals were a little buried. I would re-perform it. I would turn the volume up a little bit, and on certain lines, to get the vocals to pop a little bit more, do an overdub. Literally just re-record yourself doing it and then throw it as a track under the vocal to get the vocals to pop a little bit. Maybe just a little bit of an overdub just to make some parts of it pop. Whatever parts of it you want to highlight or parts of it that you really want to stick out. But outside of that, it was a really fun track. It was a very fun track, very colorful track, had lots of personality, and this seems like a legitimately interesting project. I don't know if anybody at all was enamored or enchanted with anything that we had just heard between Meth Head Mosh Pit and Cocaine Paradise, and you were at all, tempted by song titles like Rehab Dropout and Rat Corpse, then Sniffin' Mama's Trash as well. Why not? I encourage you to look up Lawn Dogs and give this project a spin. Fucking stool pigeons! But yeah, look it up. Give it a try. Awesome. Well, again, thank you for submitting. So Zach has submitted a track. The artist name is Noplace Falls. Song is Ephemeral. And the genre is indie pop / rock. Let's give it a try. Let's give it a listen and see what it's got to offer. Look, Zach, I think it's a really solid tune. It's really well put together. The guitars and drums are engineered very well. You structured the track well. The hook really popped too. I loved hearing, kind of almost like the Granddaddy vibes, the Death Cab vibes, maybe even like a touch of foxing as well. I'm sure like most of the new emo fans out there are totally fucking with it. I wouldn't say it like necessarily like breaks the mold when it comes to that sound, but it's still done very well. You know what I mean? Like if I had to pick it out of a lineup of a million different bands doing a certain thing, would I be able to pop it out as being distinct or, kind of highlight it as being distinct? Not necessarily, but for what it is, it's done really well. Again, the recording is good. The structure is great. If there's one thing that I think could use some alteration, it's really the vocals, honestly. And while I know it's tempting to kind of lean on, because it's such standard practice these days to kind of be touching your vocals up to death and auto-tuning them and so on and so forth, I would say maybe try a raw vocal. You know what I mean? I don't know if you need to go that hard on the processing or anything. And some people, as we were kind of saying, we're highlighting that Owl City sort of vibe and saying that it was kind of that vibe because of the inclusion of that. And hey, maybe that's your vibe. I don't know. I mean, maybe this is just me as an old head talking. I fondly remember this music kind of being free of that sort of thing. And, when it comes to emo music or emo tinged music being emotional, usually it's kind of the vocal carrying that. And you have to appreciate the fact that as you toss effects like these on, there is sort of a human touch and component to the voice that is lost in the process of that and, becomes very, very apparent when, you're using it and then you layer a background vocal or something or a harmony onto it using the same effect. When you've got two kind of layered on top of each other, it sounds less like two voices harmonizing and more like two kind of synth keys on top of each other. So, I don't know. That's just my thought. That's my suggestion. Either try to practice more vocally, forego the auto-tune. Maybe some people in the chat love the auto-tune. Maybe auto-tune one vocal and not the other. I don't know, just kind of like get a bit of variation in there or something. But yeah, I think outside of the vocals sounding maybe just a bit too processed and clean and almost like rigid and robotic to an extent, because, when a natural voice is singing, you're going to hear a natural vibrato. You're going to hear, kind of variations, slight variations in tone, even if you are just as on pitch as you can possibly be. And when you're laying on effects like this, you're totally stripping, the vocal of that quality. Which, again, for a genre like emo, I feel like you kind of want that. But that's just me and my preference, I suppose. I mean, this genre has evolved in ways that are probably beyond me at this point. I mean, lots of people say all the time, you don't like new emo music as much as you should. So, maybe I'm just old and out of touch with what's going on in emo these days, or anything that would or should appeal to new emo fans, or anything that could appeal to those fans. But all in all, still, I thought it was a well-written track, well-engineered track, and wish you luck with pushing it. I'd be curious as to what some of your other material is looking like over here. I just see this song. Okay, well, I mean, I guess my recommendation past this point is get more tracks out, pump out more tracks, and see how they do. Get them out there. But you had a lot of people in chat who were fucking with this, so I think it's off to a good start. Certainly a good start to get such a positive and warm reaction to all these snobs. All right, so Shadow Unite. Artist name is said to be Robert Steven. Song, Northern Lights. Genre, hip-hop, pop. And comes off at, I guess, just the single release over here. Let's give it a spin and see what's up. Bam.
I want to take you to the Northern Lights. Cold nights and beautiful sights. Take it to North.
Okay, things that I liked about that track, things that I think could have improved about one. It certainly came out of the gate with a bold, in-your-face sound for sure, and thank you for submitting. All right, first off, I thought the beat was pretty cool. Reminded me of Pierre Bourne a little bit in terms of like how those 808s were just thumping. How it was kind of cycling and very repetitious, but a little trippy as well, very groovy. I like those stuttering, somewhat glitchy synthesizers that a lot of people are pointing out in chat. Definitely one of the most standout kind of qualities of the song. And I don't know, there was something about the beat that sounded really glossy and pretty, almost like a Northern Lights kind of experience, I suppose. Then moving on to the vocals. Now the vocals I'm kind of split on because like performance-wise, the vocals pitch-wise were not as on point as they could have been. Like there were definitely some notes that you're kind of like flubbing a little bit, honestly. I think you could come together with a cleaner performance if, you kind of practiced that and worked on that longer. But what I will say is, as far as the vocals go, I like the timbre of the voice. I like the timbre. Yeah, sure. Like the pitch is not as there as it could be, but I like the timbre of the voice. Like it's got the kind of that like kind of almost like husky-ish kind of tone. And for this genre of music, you don't hear a lot of singers kind of in that range and with that timbre. I mean, there's a place for those kinds of singers, but you don't often hear them sort of in this genre. You don't hear a lot of people like being encouraged to sing in this way or in this range for this style of music. So in that way, it does kind of, it does sort of stand out. Yeah, I mean, I guess there were a few people in chat noting the lyrics, but because I thought the vocals could have used some work, that was mostly kind of what was standing out to me and kind of grabbing my attention for the most part. I would just work on, just sort of like your singing game right now, honestly, is what I would focus on. I mean, if you can get, work on your lyrics and get better lyrics down the road, that would just kind of be icing on top of the cake. But I mean, keep in mind, there's like so much shit out there with like, I'm not saying your lyrics are bad, but like, so much shit out there with awful lyrics or just whatever lyrics. And people aren't even paying attention to lyrics anymore for the most part. Obviously like my audience is, because we obsess over that kind of thing and we're fucking dorks. But, we're living in an age where Masked Wolf's Astronaut in the Ocean is one of the biggest songs in the world right now. So don't worry about too much about the lyrics at the moment. Just make sure it all sounds good. Don't overdo it on the vocal effects and just try to get your pitch game better. and, you know, just continue to embrace that you have almost like a husky-ish kind of tone, because it definitely makes, you know, you as a vocalist stand out more and just, you know, sound bolder for this style of music. But because your vocals are going to pop so much more, because that's kind of your timbre, you got to make sure like your singing game is like as on point as fuck, because, you know, you're not going to be able to get away with like, you know, you know, some bullshit like that. So if you're actually going to be singing, like you got to put in the work to like make sure that you're at the top of your game with that. But outside of that, yeah, I mean, cool track, fun track. Rob Steven, thank you for submitting, sir. So yes, username Jeancantskate, artist Jeancantskate, song Circles, genre hyperpop, indie, future pop. All right, let's give this track a spin. Comes off of Project 01, dropped this year. Let's see what it's got to offer. Just a double check over here. Looks like Jeancantskate has 100 monthly listeners. Just want to make sure that nobody's like, you know, shoving an artist that's already established down our throats, which it's fine if you're an established artist. I love established artists. I talk about them all the time. I talk about them every day. That's all I do. It's all I fucking do. But the point of this segment is to talk about up-and-comers. So, you know, that's the point of it. All right. Again, Project 01, Jeancantskate, Circles. Let's give it a spin, see what it's got to offer. Ba-bam. Thank you very much, Jeancantskate, for submitting. Shit, you have a song in here titled Dogecoin? Shit. I saw a lot of people messing with it in chat. I mean, look up Jeancantskate. Please give Jeancantskate. I see there's almost 2,000 of you in here. Give Jeancantskate at least some more monthly listeners. Please. Please. But yeah, I would say that was actually a pretty accurate, surprisingly accurate, you know, sort of description of what you were doing here. Because, yeah, there was like a strong hyperpop element to it, but kind of the rhythms and the driving bass line had like a really strong indie rock quality to it. And I was surprised at how well those sounds kind of melded. You know what I mean? They came together much better than I would have anticipated. It was a good tune all around. And like, especially when you kind of hit that rush on the chorus of instrumentation, it sounded really good. It was really blissful. Reminded me a little bit of Fraxium, like Food House, that sort of thing, which I'm not necessarily like super crazy about, as I think the vocals in the autotune were a little bit pitchy. I guess, you know, here's sort of my advice and here's my thought. Look, the autotune is going to make your vocals like pop hard as fuck. And sometimes you may need to like compensate for the edge that's going to put on your voice by either EQing it a certain way, making sure the levels aren't too high, or just allowing other instrumentation to kind of share the spotlight with the vocals so that it's not just like so like in your ear in, I guess, an obnoxious way. And you've already got elements like synths hanging in the background of the beat, like bring them up a little bit, you know, make them a little bit louder, make them a little bit stronger. Just find a little bit more instrumental balance so the vocals don't sound so like, you know, alone and, you know, naked and unsurrounded, you know, especially if, again, they're going to be kind of this layered and have this much auto-tune on them and pop this hard as a result, you know. But outside of that, I thought it was a fun song. You know, it was a little lo-fi and rough around the edges, but I would encourage you to, you know, do not only what I said with the vocals, but continue to improve kind of your recording and production game. But as far as like the assembly of the song and kind of the groove and the instrumental makeup that you had going, it was a solid track. It was a solid tune. And, you know, I guess a decent cut all around. And it looks like you had some strong reactions in chat as well. I'm just going to pop on the Dogecoin track because I'm really honestly curious. Nice. That was fun. Yeah, that track was good. The track was sweet. But yeah, shout out to Jeancantskate. Check out Jeancantskate. Look up the SoundCloud page. Jeancantskate Project 01. Bright young up and comer in the indie hyperpop scene. With an amazing Dogecoin track. All right, look, everyone, that's going to do it for the YouTube segment over here. Remember, all the tracks that we talked about in this this little episode here is linked down below, so you can check out the artists we talked about for yourself. Over here next to my head is another video that you could check out. Hit that up, or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, reviewing your music forever. All right.